Hello, everybody. It's NFL Draft Lab for my final Chargers mock draft of the draft cycle. The draft cycle has been really fast this year. It feels like the draft has come so early compared to last year. But let's get into my final Chargers mock draft. The Chargers don't have many serious needs on paper, maybe just a guard and an edge rusher. But if you really dissect this roster, there are potential needs at linebacker, safety, D tackle, tight end, wide receiver, center. And so it's really not a good roster overall, but let's get into this draft. The player that immediately stands out to me is Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. I think he has a really unique skill set that brings another element to the Chargers receiving room. I think that McDaniel would appreciate someone like Omar Cooper, but I don't know if they would go in that direction with the other pressing needs that they have right now. So I'm going to see what interior offensive linemen are available left and in edge rushers. And the two edge rushers that really stand out to me right now are Malachi Lawrence and R. Mason Thomas. I think Malachi Lawrence can be a nice developmental option next to Khalil Mack long term, and I think he can develop into a really nice player over time if he's not rushed into an immediate role in the NFL. And R. Mason Thomas, I think he can bring an immediate impact like Odafe Owe. He's really just like fast, high motor. He's going to have multiple pass rushing like attempts the same play, and people really don't give him enough credit against the run game. I think he's really underrated in that department, and people just undermine him because they see his build 6'2", 241 and say he can't be a good run defender, but I think he absolutely can. And interior offensive lineman, I don't see the hype in Chase Pasantis. I think he needs to get stronger and bigger. And but I do really like Emmanuel Pregnon. He's not gonna blow you away in any metric, but he's just a really solid guard overall. So there are four players. There are three players that I like. I don't love in this scenario. So I'm gonna trade down because the likelihood of all those three players going down in like let's say a 10 spot trade down is very unlikely, especially because they're all right now ranked in the 40s on the big board. So I think a team could trade up for Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper, Maxi Hanachor, however you say his name. The team that I think right now stands up that would trade up are the Patriots. So so the value that I landed on was a first number 31, a third number 95, and a fourth number 125. You can see the Patriots aren't going to make this many picks in the NFL draft. That's a lot of picks. So I think a trade up is really likely, especially if there's a player they like. So I'm going to accept this trade and see how the board falls. And I think it just fell perfectly. None of the players that I liked at the Chargers for 22, all of them are here. And so I'm going to go with R. Mason Thomas, the pass rusher out of Oklahoma. I think he's a really good fit with the Chargers. So I'm really excited if that does happen in real life. Okay, now we're here at number 55. Something that immediately stands out is Lee Hunter just staring me in the face, man. That is brutal. And oh my god, I'm going to have to make a tough decision here between Lee Hunter and Keelan Rutledge. I might be leaning towards Rutledge right now because I don't think Lee Hunter will be there at 55. I think he's too good of a player to be here at 55. Currently, with Lee Hunter, I have a round 1 to 2 grade on him. I think teams will just see his great run defense and his pass rushing upside and say that's end of first, top of second draft pick. I don't see any reason why he would be here at 55, unless teams say, okay, maybe his pad level is too high in the run. I don't know. I think it's a weak argument. So both Bud Clark and Genesis Smith are on the board over here. I have Genesis Smith. I personally have Genesis Smith higher on my draft board. I have Bud Clark as a top 60 grade. I have Genesis Smith as a top 45 grade. I think people just get caught up too much in the fact that he can't tackle at all, which I'm not denying. I know he can't tackle, but I just don't know how important that is in a safety. And I think he would be I would love him to be on the Chargers because eventually they need to take some things off Derwin's plate, even though he is a great player. And I think Genesis Smith was almost locked down in coverage. He was really good in coverage. And I think the tackling gets overblown, honestly. I think he's going to be fine in the NFL. And 5 years later, we're going to see Genesis Smith be a starting safety in the NFL, and we're going to say, oh, that was really dumb to criticize him for the tackling. So I'm going to take Genesis Smith at 95. And at number 125, we are going to take Kevin Coleman Jr., the wide receiver out of Missouri. Now we're at pick number 206, and just assessing the options. I think Jalen Husky is an interesting shout out because he definitely, I've heard people say that he possesses the same type of idea of Tarheeb still. Obviously the Maryland connection, but also just his play style, I guess. I haven't watched him, so I couldn't say. I think maybe adding a corner would be the best bet here. I think Charles Demings will go higher than this probably, so I think I'm not going to take him for realism. Jager Burden is really athletic out of Kentucky, but I don't know if he was the best player. Matt Gulbin, maybe a Tyler Biadasz replacement long term. I really like him. I know Mel Kiper likes him. I haven't personally watched him, but based on the write-ups I've seen from him, I think I would like him. I might watch him maybe just before the draft. Dallin Bentley, we already took a tight end, and Sam Roush. Carver Willis. I'm not going to take Carver Willis here because he's going to go a lot higher than this. I think that's set in stone. He's not going to be a 7th round pick. I think that's ridiculous. He'll probably go around the 3rd to 5th round range, if I had to guess. Landon Robinson is cool, but I think with the athleticism he showed, he's going to go higher than this. And so I think I'm going to land on Matt Gulbin, the center out of Michigan State, or the center. I think he projects better as a center in the NFL, but I know other people don't feel that way. So I'm going to take Matt Gulbin, the center out of Michigan State, to be a long-term Tyler Biadasz replacement. I think that's the last pick in this draft, and I think we really did a good job in this draft, getting good value at all of our picks. I don't regret any pick, seeing the options on the board. I think we really did a good job. So this is our final mock draft for the Chargers. At pick 31, just as a recap, we took R. Mason Thomas, the pass rusher out of Oklahoma. We took Keelan Rutledge, Grayson Halton, Genesis Smith, Sam Roush, Kevin Coleman, and Matt Gulbin. I think we did a good job getting 2 weapons for Justin Herbert, then shoring up the offensive line, solving the 3rd edge rusher spot, getting a pass rushing defensive tackle. I think we really aced literally everything about this draft. Maybe they could have gotten a corner somewhere in this draft. I really don't think corner's too big of a need though for the Chargers. I really think the room is in a good spot right now. I know having an alpha corner is cool, but I think they're good right now. So that's my final mock draft. See you next time. edge rusher rankings hopefully coming out before the draft.